Man, oh man, oh man. We're back. It's your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. But before we get into the show tonight, two things here, sentimental to my heart. I'm going to have a moment of silence because this is 9/11 for what happened in New York City. Right at 25 years now. And we want to make a moment of silence. And more importantly, we lost a music legend today in Frankie Beverly, Frankie Beverly and Mays. So just get a moment of silence. Hey, we're back here. Listen, I appreciate you guys. Thanks each and every one of you guys for making the Pull Up Podcast Show one of the best sports shows. And this is my season 1. Now we're moving into season 2, and we got bigger guests, bigger excitement. We're going to bring you a lot of things. And my guest that I got tonight is going to bring you an absolutely, let's just say, phenomenal opportunity. If you're in the sports world and you're looking to do an opportunity, we're going to show you about it. You need to keep your ears tuned to the dial. But before we do it, Val, you know what to do. Drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, welcome to season 2. We are finally back. Not like 50 Cent in Power. He's coming back. But welcome to season 2, episode 201 with your guy, the one and only Coach Tony. And tonight, my guest is coming. It's September, right? So it's baseball playoffs. My guest is this hot as a fastball coming across the plate. And I don't mean you're going to knock that park. You're going to get a couple strikeouts. But it is absolutely phenomenal. She comes to us as one of the first African-American females to hold a title of owner and general manager of a men's professional basketball team in the IBL. We're going to talk about that. She's also the driving force behind one of the top entertainment projects and a magazine, Pro Baller and Hotspot magazine. And she's also the executive director, owner of Global Sports News Network. And this is the icing on the cake from one of my favorite cities, from Las Vegas. Without further ado, before we bring her out, Val, let's play a quick clip. Let everybody know what we're looking at. Oh, I guess Val didn't have it queued up. We'll get to that clip as we move on. But tonight's guest, coming from, like I said, Viva Las Vegas, we're going to bring on air with me tonight, the one and only Mr. Alexis Levi. Welcome to the show.
Oh, Tony, thank you so much for having me.
Hello, young lady. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I am really doing good. So happy to be here. So excited and happy to meet your audience.
Man, let me tell you something. I know the weather's cooled down in Vegas right now because I try to get out there in the summertime. I can't mess with that 115, 120. What's the weather looking like in Vegas today?
It's just 95 today.
Just 95, right?
So
just
we got
95.
It's a little breeze out there.
Oh, I know. Hey, welcome to the show. We've been doing some fabulous things. Man, I've been talking about you like the whole entire week, so your ears should be like burning because I've been
we're doing good out here.
What you're doing. That's good. Well, let's jump in. Let's tell the audience real quick. I know you're in Vegas right now, but where did you originally grow up at, and how did you get to Vegas, Alexis? Can you hear me?
I didn't hear you, Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, tell the
No,
audience
now I
how.
can.
There you go. You're originally from California, from the Bay Area. Talk a little bit about growing up in the Bay and how did you get to Las Vegas?
Oh yeah. I'm from the Bay Area. My parents lived there. I'm an only child, so parents lived there, went to school there, high school, played sports. A lot of people don't know this, that one of my chosen sports was ice skating. So I ice skated competitively for about 10 years and
Wow.
went to college there. Did a lot of things in business, in politics, and sports there too. I used to work with the Warriors when I lived in the Bay Area too.
Oh man, that's figure skating. I would have never thought about you figure skating in California. How did that come about?
How did Vegas come about? Well, most people know I have two sons, and they were sports people. And one day the kids were at my house, and at any given time I could have 10 boys at my house, because they all used to hang out because I talked to them. We talked sports and things like that. And they were kind of telling me how the industry had changed, and coaches didn't seem to be as much into the athlete as maybe making it successful or making a lot of money. And so, I just thought that was such a disservice, because when I played sports, my coaches were some of my best, supporters. And so anyway, that night, the boys said to me, they said, if you were our coach, we'd play for you. Right. And I started thinking, I said, you would? And they said, yeah, because you're fair. You get in our butts, but you're fair. So I started looking that night at teams and looked at the IBL, and the rest is history. Made a few phone calls to the commissioner, and we had a couple of conversations. The next thing I know, he was on a plane to the Bay Area, and
Wow.
we were sitting down talking numbers.
Wow. That is, and what you just said is
Yeah, it was just
absolutely
that.
key. Yeah. And you're so right, because, I still tell my kids who play for me that I still have my high school coach's phone number. So just exactly what you just said, Lex,
Yeah.
And I said, 30 years later, right? Still got your high school coach's number. That means he had a great impact on what you did. And so,
And you're
obviously,
right.
we came up there. So to have someone like you sit in that situation, and the cool part about it, like, you're a female, so like you don't find most females want to coach a guy, so they're like, man, you knucklehead. But it's cool that you took on that objective. Kind of like, I look at the movie Brown Sugar. So when did you really know? Because you were figure skating. Now you also played basketball in high school too, right?
Yep.
At
I did
what position?
everything. I did all the sports. I did
Shooting
baseball,
guard, point
basketball. I
guard.
didn't do football. I was a center. No, I was a center. At that time I was 5'9". I'm 5'9". But the trait that my sons and I all had was we could jump really high. Okay. So, I was a center, and did those jump balls and got those rebounds.
That's funny. I would put you out on the wing someplace, catching the ball, want to shoot everything you get.
I could do that too. I could do that too.
Oh man! So when you got that opportunity, so how did it feel, kind of sitting there, and now your baby boys are playing basketball in high school, and you kind of sitting there with that idea in the stands that wow, I got an opportunity that his teammates and himself would love to have me as a coach, and this is pretty good. I think I'm gonna follow this down the pipeline. Were you very instrumental in terms of his high school career and helping him get to the next level?
Well, now I have two. Okay, so let me tell you, Tony, how this works. I have an older son who is 6'8" now, was 6'5" in high school.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And I have a younger one. That's the one that went pro overseas. He's 6'3", and he's the one that's the coach of the University of Utah. So it was just we're a sports family.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And it's good to come home, and if you screw up, mom gonna get in my butt. And that got a beautiful picture right there. Who's that right there? Got the baby.
These are my jewels right here. I call them my heart. On the right side is Tyler Larson, University of Utah assistant coach and director of player personnel. And on the left side is Devereaux Vincent. That's my older son, the one that's tall, 6'8" now. And he actually has his own business as well in sports and entertainment. And that little one in the middle is my granddaughter.
Look at that. Look at that. And she gonna probably be about 6'1", 6'2".
Oh yeah, of course. I'm 5'9". She'll be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. And if you like me with my granddaughter, I'm completely putting a ball in, and my daughter gets mad. I'm like, don't get mad, because if I'm babysitting, I'm looking out. She's got a ball in hand. We're gonna be working on something. We ain't just sitting around.
Yeah, no, that's great. And my older son, he just got awarded the Hall of Fame up in Tacoma, Washington. He played ball up there when he was in college, and they won the championship. He was the one that took him to the championship. And all these years, because he's the oldest, all these years, they never won a championship. So they put that team in the Hall of Fame. So I'm really proud of both the boys. They're doing the thing.
Man, that is, hats off. Let's go hats off on that. That is perfect. And he's now down in Atlanta right now, correct?
He lives in Atlanta. That's right. He sure did. He went to Clark Atlanta for a couple of years after leaving Washington, and then fell in love with Southern. Yep,
yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, the A popping out here, as we call Atlanta. That's the new chocolate city since we moved it from DC over to the A. So so that's good.
Over to the A, and it's a new Hollywood out there.
Oh man. Definitely, especially with Tyler Perry bringing everything that he's got going on in Atlanta.
It's great.
Now, and you look at that. So what do you think about?
Yes, I had an opportunity.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you're saying.
No, I said when you're looking at that.
No, I said I had an opportunity to meet.
Go ahead. I can hear you. I'm sorry. I stepped on you.
I'm sorry. We're both playing off each other because it was quiet. I was just going to say that I had the opportunity to go to Tyler Perry's studio, and boy, that's amazing. It's amazing what that man has done with that studio. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh no, that is definitely. That's what I was saying earlier. I was just saying I need to put him and my nephew together. My nephew was on our show. He works on a couple of projects with Tyler Perry in Atlanta out of the studio. If you remember the show Greenleaf, they've got a new series of Greenleaf, and my nephew's one of the stars on that show. So I need to make sure I plug them two together while they're down there. Oh yeah, most
definitely.
Now, when you came up in the Bay Area, what player was the big? Was it Gary Payton? Was he the big name in the Bay Area?
Now you're gonna make me tell my age, okay? Because I was a little girl when he was a grown player. Both my parents worked for the Oakland Coliseum. Both my parents worked for the Oakland Coliseum. So my mom worked for the Warriors, and my dad was over the facility itself. And so I was a little girl. My dad used to take me to work with him and sit me on the bench to watch the Warriors. So, I was watching people like Rick Barry and several other people, and then a couple of the Oakland A's, way back in the day. And, of course, Ricky. Gary Payton, I know Gary. So, we grew up at the same time pretty much in the Bay Area. And, I just had a great upbringing. I love sports, and I've been around it and have gotten the chance to meet a lot of great athletes.
Man, what was your thoughts when they moved the Golden State Warriors out of the Bay and moved them over to San Francisco?
Well, it was kind of sad in a way because it had been an era, in our family for a long time. But, it's, God is amazing. Right. And so my youngest one, which you just saw, the one that's coach at University of Utah, he was playing overseas in Italy. And so he was a part of that bubble and all that. And then he finally, his wife got pregnant, and, he was like ready to come home. Well, the Warriors, they reached out to him. I don't know how I always say, but God, I don't know how they knew he was back home, but somebody told him that he was back home, and they offered him a position in coaching. And they offered him an opportunity to be the assistant at the G League level and development at the I guess you'd say the pro level with Steph and Clay and all of them, because he went to school with Gary Payton's son, the one that plays on the Warriors.
Okay. Yep. That
so
is
it's a big circle.
big circle.
So
big
yeah,
circle.
that's how we got in touch with that. And I didn't answer your question. Yeah, I didn't answer your question, but your question was, how did I feel when they went over to San Francisco? I said I felt a little sad because there had been such a great era. But, change is good. The Chase Center is amazing. It's beautiful. And, I mean, they can get more fans in there. And Steph and his wife are really loyal to Oakland.
Yes.
They have stores there and all kinds of stuff. And they take care of the kids and feed them. So it's good. It's good. Change is good.
Yeah, change is real good. We're going to be right back on the other side. We're talking to my girl, Alexis Levi. We're going to jump into some business thing, but we're going to take a quick break because Val is going to pay some bills. And also, we got a special commercial for it. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show. What you got, the one and only Coach Tony.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. Key Spot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. Key Spot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Next American Sports Pro is the American Idol of sports. Apply today for the basketball tryouts on September 23rd, 2024 in Las Vegas. You can't win the opportunity to be on the show if you're not there. Win the opportunity to be brought back to Vegas to compete for prizes, exposure, and the opportunity. Showcase your talent in front of the cameras with 10 other athletes in Las Vegas and the world.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show. This is the guy, the one and only Coach Tony. As tonight, we're giving you quarter by quarter information with my girl, Alexis Levi. Hey, let's jump into the opportunity of how did it make you feel as you already knew that you love the sport, that now you jump into everything, 2 feet, hands, you grinding it out. And then all of a sudden you end up being an owner / GM of a men's professional basketball team. How did that happen?
It was incredible. I'll tell you a quick story. We knew I was going forward. We didn't know I was making history. A couple of the PR people, which is what they're supposed to do, they started doing some research and they said, I think you're making history. And I said, okay. And I'm working, I'm working. It's okay. Okay. We can keep moving. But, it was funny because they put an announcement out, a press release out, and it went out over the nation and international. And the next thing, we were getting calls from all the teams, all the newspapers, sponsors, different things for me to speak at. It was crazy because for me, I've always been at the helm of things, but I was always in corporate America. I was a nurse for 14 years. I thought I was going to be a doctor. So this was a total switch from where I thought I was going, Tony.
Oh, that is. And then all of a sudden Pepsi slipped up. So what kind of award did Pepsi give you?
Well, it was, like I said, life is something. I get a call one day and they asked me, they said, well, we want to do a big, photo shoot with you. So they fly me to New York. Tony, when I walked in my room, I think it was a presidential suite. I was like, well, something's going on here. Okay. And They brought me in, they did a photo shoot, like as if I was a model. And I didn't know that I was going to be the campaign poster child, per se. I figured, okay, they're going to use me. It was a campaign called The First of Many, and they had 12 firsts. First of this, first of that. Some were sports, some were other things in life, right? They did the photo shoot. They said they really liked it. I flew back home, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting in my office, and people start calling me saying, we really love your picture in the magazine. And I said, what magazine? And they were saying Ebony and Essence and Sister to Sister. And they just named a whole bunch, right? Well, I went to Walgreens to go get the magazine because I couldn't believe it. And there I was. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is crazy, right? But I was blessed because Pepsi flew me and Michael Strahan. Now,
Right.
I think I'm pretty cool, but Michael Strahan's pretty cool, right? So we fly to New York to the Pepsi headquarters, and they had us speak to the whole staff of Pepsi for Diversity Week. So it's I've had some great experiences, surprises. Yep, there it is. So I'm telling the truth. It was
we already
great.
know.
I got a chance to meet the owners and of Pepsi and people. It was great. It was great.
Man.
I'm not even gonna lie and say I wasn't blushing excited.
Right. Oh, that is exciting. And then you take it up. And so you get home, you got your name, you're in the magazine, you're doing big things. Then all of a sudden you decide to sit down and kind of put your brain together, start thinking about your own magazine. How did Pro Baller and Hotspot Magazine, how did that idea come about?
Well, Tony, I'm a marketing person. Okay, let's start with that. I'm a marketing person. I've been doing marketing of all kinds of events and, music artists and all that for years, right? So I said to myself, well, if they're opening the door for me, I'm gonna kick it down and go in, right? So I always liked the magazine Rob Report. I always like nice, fancy stuff. And so I decided to contact them and tell them I wanted to kind of do an off spin, but make it sports and luxury. And so they liked the idea and we kept it moving. And then that magazine came out. And then I said, well, I like all this entertainment stuff. And what it did for me is not only could I put myself in a publishing position, which I often do, put myself in the driver's seat. I was able to not only publish, but I was able to put my clients in those magazines, because when a person first starts out, it's not easy to get a magazine. It was only easy for me because it wasn't me, it was God, right? So, but if I'm trying to market my client, I need to be able to put them in some things that gets them noticed right away. So then we can take them to the next level. We did the same thing with Jen Welter, which was a football woman. She's now, I think, head of marketing for arena football, but she was the first coach that Arizona had as a woman, right? So she hadn't had a lot of magazine experience. So I put her in my magazine. The next thing I had her on Access Hollywood. So, it's all about layering things. It's all about exposing people to new things and getting their face seen.
Oh, man. And speaking of the scene, don't think, everybody, we're listening, talking to my girl, Alexis Levi. You're talking with Coach Tony on the Pull Up Podcast Show. 3 things I need you to do: share, listen, and subscribe to this show. But talk to us a little bit about your homeboy back in the Bay on E40. How did that opportunity come about? Because, I like a little E40 and sprinkle me. That's my jam.
Sprinkle. And just hearing some of these stories, I end up being in the right place, the right time. My son, my youngest, went to school with E40's sisters, 2 daughters. And so one day I was at the school dropping him off, and I had a suit on and I was looking professional. And she asked me, she said, what do you do? Because you come in here suited and booted, right? I said, well, I'm in this. I do this. I market. I do all this stuff, right? So she said, I want you to meet my children. And I was like, who are your children? Okay. And she said, E40 and the Clique. Well, at that time, Sprinkle Me had just made it big. So she pulled me in and was like, I want to introduce you to them. I think you'd be good for them. On the management side, Chaz Hayes was their manager at the time. And I came in and I really kind of worked with all of them, but I really worked directly with the girl, which was Sugar T. Yeah,
I like Sugar T too.
So
and
that
then
was cool.
You got your boy on the other side over here. For those that don't know, you got your boy Blow the Whistle, Too Short on the other side.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes. Yeah. Well, we got, Bay Area is interesting. We got a few artists, but working with E40 was the best experience. I've worked with him. I worked with in Silicon Valley. I worked with Jesse Jackson for 7 years. I mean, I've had some blessed positions, And when I work with E40, I think I was telling you when we were talking one day, one of the things that I like about him, he's so real. You know, he's just so real. He's always been the same. If I see him 20 years ago, he's the same guy. He's doing,
Right.
Obviously better in business, but he's still that same guy, real homegrown, real down to earth. And I asked him one time, and I told you I wanted to share this with your audience. I asked him, I said, well, you've been so successful, and I said, what advice would you give me in my time of where I'm growing? There they go.
There you go.
So where would you tell me? He said, every day. Yep, there they go. Every day, do something towards your career. Every day. And when he told me that, I started doing it. It started making my business grow. It started opening doors, and the rest is history.
Now, that's interesting. And when I say I took what you were talking about, as we talked about that, and bottled it up, and just to let you know, congratulations to my son. He's at Middle Tennessee State University here in Murfreesboro, just outside of Nashville. And he's in content writing, development, mass media, and production. And he's trying to get in that business. And I was telling him I was speaking to you, and I told him about that. And I said, even though every day you're in school, you're doing what you got to do, when you get home, try not to have no downtime. And if your downtime is the time before you're going to go to sleep and get back up, do a little something on your business. So now he's doing some music videos. The problem I got to get away from him, Alexis, is make sure he charges homeboys. He want to do everything for free. I'm like, come on, man. What you doing?
Oh, no, you can't do that. You got to have a business. You got to make them respect you. You got to, even if you don't want to charge them the same that you charge somebody that you don't know, right, you still got to charge them because that's the real world.
And that's exactly what I told him. I said, hey, just for easy numbers, if you're doing something for $125 and they want to do something, charge them $75, even though you get something, because you're doing a business for them. And if they have their business, they're going to sell their business and they can't give it away for free. So everyone's doing well.
Also,
you jumped off in the gas. How did the
Anyway, I was telling you about E40 and them, for those that saw the Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle. Yes.
Yep, I was in Charlie Hustle. It's on my Instagram. My Instagram is at real Alexis Levi. And if you go on there and look in those little circles, where it says highlights, you'll see me acting as his mother when they were a kid in his Charlie Hustle. Yeah, it was good. Like I said, I end up different places. I don't know how I get there.
Hey, me and you can hang out all the time, because all my guys and my kids, friends, like, man, your dad, stay with a hustle hand on. You got to stay with your hustle hand, got to be rolling,
Stay busy, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But, we're going to take a break. It's halftime as we giving you quarter by quarter information with my girl, Alexis Levi, here today on the Pull Up Podcast Show. We're going to take a quick break. It's halftime. I got to go ahead and talk to these players, make sure we win this game. Fouls, pay a few more bills. We'll be right back on the other side.
We're kicking off a whole brand new season. I know you guys have missed us, but we are back. And of course, it's always exciting and wonderful to have a very talented individual who has started a wonderful tech company. And then, of course, he is the host of Tech Thursdays on a platform called the House of Creativity. And he has just finished his book, Where? Jay Mullane Wise. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Val the Voice Johnson. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
One thing I forgot to mention is that also about, I want to say October, November of last year, Wise stepped into the podcasting game, initially starting on Instagram and then started his platform, Wise Going Live. I was recently on the platform, but I think I've been there 4 times. it has been extremely gratifying to see how far you've come as a host, a podcaster, and also a moderator, sir. So I just wanted to say kudos.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When you're around great talent like yourself, Val, the voice, it only does it inspires you to go forth. And we have amazing community of people that inspire us to actually, keep accountable. You keep me accountable. I keep you accountable. We all keep each other accountable, and we try to do the great thing to move forward.
What is going on? I got to do the opening. I didn't do that. Just like from that movie, I'm going to get you, sucker. Everybody needs a theme song.
And you got that right.
Everybody needs a theme song. Let's not get it twisted.
And all right, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show with my girl Alexis Levi. Before we jump into the nitty gritty, Alexis, you've been watching the news a little bit. You've been that sports agent. Your sons are African American. They, got to drive around. Things happen sometime. What was your thought process that now the film came out with what happened this Sunday with Tyreek? Hill down in Miami with the police officer. For those that don't know, the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins was heading to the football stadium. He was doing excessive speeding in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Police approached the car. They had a few words, and all of a sudden he's face down on the pavement with a knee in his back like George Floyd. Do you think that the situation could have been handled better?
I didn't like that. Can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
You hear me? Okay. Yeah. So I didn't like that. These days, that has to stop being the go-to for these police. I understand the gentleman was speeding, but from what I heard, I didn't hear him really raise his voice. I mean, or get disrespectful. I mean, he was utmost respectful in the interview that we're looking at. And he said, my mom didn't raise anybody to do, to be like that. I respect the police, and I just can't even understand why this happened. I am sure that some police are going to get in trouble for that. Okay. You live in the area. Tyreek is a big name. You don't know what he looks like. I don't believe that. He's in what was he in, a Ferrari or something, or Lambo?
Lambo.
Okay. Come on now, So yeah. So when I look at stuff like this, I feel bad for this gentleman because, there was no reason for this type of activity. It was interesting what he did on the court. On the field. You can tell my head's in basketball sometimes. On the field, because when his teammate came behind him when he ran that touchdown, and and people asked me what I thought about that, and I said, well, you know what, we don't like the fact that this was done, So when you have those types of things done like that, you have to be prepared to get whatever butt off that day. He was running and touchdowning and being the wide receiver and doing what he running down that field. And I am glad that he didn't let that stuff bother him so much that he didn't do good in the game.
Exactly. And the thing that I'll add to that is, again, what was disheartening to me was that when his teammate pulled off to just check, because he saw Tyreek sitting over, on the sidewalk, he had already explained to the officer that threw him on the ground that I just came off of knee surgery. That's why I don't want to kneel down, because I got a game, and that means you're going to have me kneeled on this hard pavement. I'm trying to get to the stadium early so I can get my treatments to this game. And then they put his teammates in handcuffs for just stopping by and checking. That made no sense.
Yeah.
So, but the good thing about it is that
yeah, I
he's
mean,
okay.
I think he handled it. Yeah, it's okay. We move forward, right?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know how much forward they're going to move, because I know that the owners weren't very happy. The attorneys aren't very happy. So, that'll all be resolved. But I think as a young man, he handled it well.
And again, you know as well as I know, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because we got these young African-American athletes, right? Whether they pro basketball, pro baseball, pro football, and they're in the limelight, the gold necklaces and the chains and the cars and all that. The object is, if you get pulled over by a police officer, listen to my voice. The object is to get home and get home safely.
To diffuse it. Yeah. The object is to diffuse it. And, I have son happen. This is going to happen. It's not, will it happen? This is going to happen. And how do you handle it? My oldest one had an incident where the police pulled his friend over and put him in the back of the car, So, I mean, it's a place where, and I hate to say only young Black, but young minority, young men need to know what they're going to say. And I always tell my kids, put those webcam in your car. Okay. Put a webcam in your car so that you can tape everything that's going on. Then that way there's no, guessing of who was right, who was wrong. Luckily his teammates were there. I like the fact he said his teammates came back or they came across the street to make. Yeah, I was happy about that.
Well, that's good. And speaking of happy about something, let's jump into this next American sports, pro, because I want to know, and the people want to know, how can they get involved with the $100,000 challenge? And before you answer that, walk us back, because I remember you and I were talking about the story of you had the idea. And for those that are listening, if you're familiar with American Idol, if you're America's Got Talent, kind of tell us a little bit, Alexis, how you kind of fuse the two of them to come up with this next American sports pro.
Yes. Take them through that. Okay. Well, I'm a creative. Okay. I create things. I realize that that's where my happy spot is. And I also am an advocate for adult players, kids in general, women in general. And so one night I was watching TV. I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. And I was watching TV and American Idol came on. And when I looked at it, I said, this is pretty unique here. Somebody needs to do this for sports. And so it's very similar. People are sitting at home or they're singing, but they don't get the opportunity because it's not easy to get their teams and other leagues and things like that. But to really get seen by somebody who can make a difference in your journey or in your dream, it's not easy, right? There's really no opportunity left for you. So because I've been in sports for 20 years, I know that that's not true. That got me excited. It's in sports and all sports. I mean, I even have relationships in Formula One and NASCAR, so it's not just the ball. It's a lot of different sports that I've had interaction with and clients in. So when I saw that, I said, you know what, I bet you I could do it. So I started talking to some of the sports folks that I know, that I respect, that have been in the business longer than me. And they were like, that's a genius idea. If you could do that, that would be great. So several of my associates and I, we started going down the road with it. Then COVID came and kind of stopped us. So then I said, well, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe it's meant for Shaq or Magic or someone else, right? But I had the opportunity to bring it back full circle this year. And we are in full swing. We're starting with basketball. Our first basketball tryouts are September 23rd, which is 2 weeks away. And we're going to be doing tryouts there. We'll do one more tryout in line. You can call what is my number now? 877-801-6398, which is right there. Okay. They can website, which is nextamericansportspro.com. It'll say apply now, and you put your information in, and then we'll send you your invoice. There is a fee to try out. I'm very upfront about that. There's two different ways to do it. You can either, pay the fee at once online, or you can start and then doing the physical interview and try out. And that's how they can get involved. To keep going. So once they get involved in that level, what we're doing is we're trying to find the top 10 that are going to come back to Vegas. We're going to bring them back to Vegas. They're going to stay in Vegas 7 to 10 days, and we're going to tape every day the show. At the end of that, someone's going to win. We have judges that are former NBA players, former WNBA coaches. We have myself is the lead on the judges. And then we also have Clive Williamson, who is a NBA
legend,
WNBA, and FIBA. FIBA is the international side of things. Best person, and they're going to get all the players. So that's what the Next American Sports Pro. And what I want to tell you is that it's not only basketball. We have 15 different sports. So it's basketball, football, baseball, soccer, MMA. For those of you who want to be an MMA fighter, we have, Randy Couture and his associate, his boxing tryouts. Every sport that is there, except for some of the newer sports, are available. And so they can try out for each of those sports, and they get picked to come back to Vegas. Then they have an opportunity to win some prizes and win an opportunity.
Man, that is absolutely awesome. We are talking to my girl, Alexis Levi, about Next American Sports Pro, and we're going to get into some more details, and she's going to take it on the road, and we may be coming to an area near you. So before, you jump on a plane, to make sure you fill out everything, we'll be right back to talk a little more details and to talk about some people involved.
Questions. Use for kids. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep it moving.
Oh, I got you. We're going to take one last break for the show. We'll be right back. And we're going to be back here on the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony. Be right back.
Next American Sports Pro is the American Idol of sports. Apply today for the basketball tryouts on September 23rd, 2024 in Las Vegas. You can't win the opportunity to be on the show if you're not there. Win the opportunity to be brought back to Vegas to compete for prizes, exposure, and the opportunity. Showcase your talent in front of the cameras with 10 other athletes in Las Vegas and the world.
man, as we bring it home here in the fourth quarter, everybody, this is when the game starts right here, Lex. Nobody start playing to the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, they want to make sure they're going to win this game. But this is exciting. Let's talk about a few of the people that are involved with you, Rick Barry, like I said, Walt. Talk about those guys and how instrumental they are to help you get this in the right direction. And let's also give the people some you guys, you mentioned you're going to take this on the road. Where are the next stops and how can people be on a lookout for if they're coming to a city near them?
Well, I'm waiting for Tony.
You hear me?
So anyway, we're waiting for Tony. It says you can see me and hear me, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it going for them. One of the things that we want to do is make sure, as you know, sometimes if you go to college, you don't get seen if you're playing at the rec park, or you don't get seen if you're playing with a travel team. So we want to give you that opportunity. There we go. Yeah.
And so with Rick Barry,
Rick's like my godfather.
Okay. And Rick's involved and got all that kind of helping out. And what other cities are you also? Because Rick is also involved with the Big Three with Ice Cube, correct? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. I said so. Rick is also involved in.
You were asking
the Big Three with Ice Cube.
About Rick?
Yeah, he's involved with the Big Three as well, correct? Did you hear that? Did you hear that question, Alexis?
I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, I said Rick is also involved in the Big Three with Ice Cube.
Yep.
Yeah. So how are you able to leverage that to help
Yes,
you
he is.
get this off?
He is. He is. This is his second year. Yeah, this is his second year.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
They just came to Nashville.
Obviously, Ice Cube.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. I wasn't sure what you asked me, but I think I heard the last part. Yes, he is with the Big Three, which I love him for that. There's Dr. J, there's George Gervin, there's Charles Oakley, a lot of the of the Big Three. I think Ice Cube was a genius for that, because he brings back that validity, of the sport. So yeah, he's one of the coaches. Obviously, him being a Hall of Famer and a top 50 player, still holding some records today. He's a
And looking at that as well, because he has the background helping out with the Big Three, obviously getting involved with you. Who are going to be some of the judges on the next American Sports Pro? Do you have the judges already picked out, and how will they go about judging the talent?
Oh yeah.
You get that? You get that question?
No, unfortunately, no, I didn't get it. You said something about
I was asking about the
the
judges for the.
judges.
Yeah, for the show.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Cube, I'm gonna just talk. Maybe I could say a few things. Ice Cube is amazing. You know, he came up with the way to keep these guys relevant every night. These people that Ice Cube has are the foundation of basketball, of the NBA. You know, they're the foundation. They're the ones that were out there playing when it wasn't $50 million that they were getting.
Right.
You know, they were making that foundation so that you can have a Steph Curry and a LeBron and I love the fact that he made something that they would love to be a part of.
Oh yeah, and now with the Next American Sports Pro, and they get an opportunity to come to
Yes.
Vegas. What are some other areas or locations that you plan to take the show on the road? Where do you plan to take it next?
Ooh, as far as for me, which I was telling you, our production company, we scored the deal for that. My company also got the contract for the e-tennis world championship for 2025 here in Las Vegas. A lot of things come to Vegas, so that's why I stay in Vegas, because it comes to me.
Right. That makes
I have
a
an
lot of
opportunity
sense.
to put them together and work with people. Yeah, because they're already they already want to come to Vegas, so they just have to find me.
Right.
So
That makes good
anyway,
sense.
yeah, I do a lot of that.
And I mean, it's exciting too, because now you've got two age groups, right? So you got a 19 and older and an 18 and under. Explain the different age groups for the contest.
Okay, for the contest, what happened was we were only going to do 18 and over, right? And then all of a sudden, we started getting, when we put it out in the public that we were doing this, we started getting calls from parents. And parents wanted their child to be involved in something like this. It's not 100% the same in pride and scholarships, for them to go to school if that's what they want to do. And then 18 and older is the ones that's going to get the opportunity to, to see where their journey can end, whether it's over here in the States or over international.
Oh, that's great. And then what I love about it is that you're planning
Is
on
to make sure that parents.
I was saying, what I love about it is that you're planning on adding the more sports year after year. So this is not a
Yes.
fly by night, everybody. This is an opportunity that if you don't get it this year, she's planning on adding some things down the road. So if your sport is not there this year, you stay in tune, because next year and the year after next, she's going to be getting bigger with this.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then some of the sponsors. Can you tell us about some of the sponsors that behind the show that's helping out? Some of the
Yes.
And who are some of the sponsors that we got behind it, Alexis?
Oh, no, a lot of time and energy. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, yes, right now, I'm obviously going to work on Pepsi because we already have a relationship. So I'm working on that right now. We have hotelplanner.com. We have LasVegasTickets.com. We're working on some beverages. We just signed, sealed, and delivered a golf facility to do the golf tournaments. We have all the venues that we wanted to do, from basketball to football to baseball, all of that. And then now we're just looking at the brands that are most important, like a Dick's Sporting Goods, or, I would love, a Nike. And I'm kind of looking at talking to Nike and or Jordan brand, either one of those. And so, the sponsors, once we got everything laid out to where we're going to be, when we're going to be, and when we're going to do tryouts, we're looking at sponsors for the tryouts right now so that we can go to California, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, and Florida next year.
Hey,
so
you right there in my back
and
door.
It's definitely
everything.
not a fly by night. It's a definite amazing journey for not only me, but we got sports people, jumping in this thing, because it's something different. It's never been anything done like this before, and so we have Olympians jumping in. We have people that are basketball, football players, have been coaches, have been scouts, jumping in, because we utilize them for being the judges. And then we utilize some celebrities and other people to do the challenges with them, on the daily basis. So we've got a lot of people. There's over 125 people involved in this.
Man, that is, hey,
and I'm
you
the
got
executive producer.
And then you got me. You got me. You got the Pull Up Podcast show. I want to get out there, do the show for me. I want to be involved. And definitely, man, you are listening tonight. Absolutely wonderful. And thank you so much. We're talking to my girl, Alexis Levi, who came in and dropped some nuggets and some fire on the Next American Sports Pro. So if you are familiar with American Idol and America's Got Talent, you definitely want to make sure that you tune in to Next American Sports Pro. And Val, she will post the phone number and the tagline and the email address and the opportunity to go to the website. So make sure you take a look. The first contest is coming up September 3rd, 23rd in Las Vegas. And then the show is going to get on the road. So if you think that you got talent and you can beat someone else, then you need to be there. So we need to make sure you do it. Alexis, thank you so much for coming in tonight and sharing with us. And I appreciate you very much so.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you and Val and your audience. And, if you think you got what it takes, you better come and be a part of it. Thank you.
Hey, I thought you were going to put my tag. You think you got what it takes, you better pull up on me. Oh, yeah. But hey, we are coming to you as we see, speaking of pulling up on me, from the Rise Studio. This is my program. This is sports marketing that drives everything in the NIL space. And this is The Rise, RIZENIL.com, where we match brands and athletes together for collective opportunities. Also, my girl, Val, the voice, she want to let you know how a DJ saved her life. This is the QR code for her book that she just dropped, How a DJ Saved Her Life. And she talks about how coming from the opportunity of getting into the podcast world and how music and being a DJ allowed her to do a lot of things. Also, Interludes Talk on Tuesday. That's our entertainment segment of the show. We're always dropping that on Tuesday nights. So on Monday nights with the Pull Up Podcast show, on Tuesday, if you want to listen to music and entertainment, you make sure you pull up on us on Tuesdays as well. This has been a wonderful show tonight. This is your boy again, the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast show. But you know my words. Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.